Are you struggling to mend a broken heart? When someone you love leaves, it can feel like the ground beneath you has vanished. The silence after shared laughter, the empty side of the bed, the constant ache of missing what once felt eternal. Heartbreak is one of life's deepest pains. It isn't just the loss of a person, it's the loss of a future you imagined together. But beneath that pain, Buddhism offers a quiet truth. Even in your darkest moments, peace is still possible. The Buddha never promised a life without sorrow. He taught that pain is part of being human. Yet within pain lies the seed of awakening. The end of a relationship is not the end of love itself. It's an invitation to see love differently, not as possession, but as understanding. So if your heart feels heavy, know this. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about learning to sit gently with what is, without clinging or resistance. Heartbreak may shake you, but it can also open you to compassion, wisdom, and the kind of peace that no one can take away. When love ends, what hurts most isn't just losing someone. It's losing the belief that something so beautiful could last forever. And that's where Buddhist wisdom begins, by showing us why change, though painful, is the very nature of life. One of the deepest reasons heartbreak hurts so much is because we believed, even for a moment, that love would last forever. When we fall in love, we imagine it as something unshakable, something we can depend on no matter what. We weave dreams, promises, and futures together as if they were carved in stone. But life, as the Buddha taught, is not made of stone. It is made of movement. Buddhism calls this truth anicca, impermanence. Everything that arises will one day fade. Every sunrise will give way to sunset. Every flower that blooms will eventually wither. Even our emotions, joy, sadness, excitement, longing, come and go like waves. Yet we cling to them as if they could stay. When a relationship ends, it feels like the world has betrayed us. But what truly breaks our heart is not the change itself. It's our resistance to it. We want the warmth to remain, the connection to stay frozen in time. But love, like all things, moves through cycles. It blossoms, flourishes, transforms, and sometimes dissolves. Think of nature for a moment. The cherry blossom that paints the trees in spring lasts only a few days before the wind carries its petals away. We don't curse the wind for taking them. We understand that their beauty exists because they are brief. The same is true of love. Its impermanence does not make it meaningless. It makes it precious. The Buddha once said, "All conditioned things are impermanent." When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. To see clearly is not to deny love's ending, but to accept its nature, that it was real while it lasted, and it has now changed form. Love may no longer exist as a shared journey, but its essence, kindness, care, memory, still lives within you. Take a quiet breath and reflect. What if this pain isn't punishment, but proof that you have loved deeply? What if impermanence isn't cruelty, but the very rhythm that makes life alive? When you begin to see this truth, the sharp edges of loss soften. You start to hold love more gently, not as something to keep forever, but as something to cherish while it's here. Understanding impermanence helps us see why things change, but seeing it doesn't mean it stops hurting. So how do we live with that pain without drowning in it? Heartbreak brings pain, there's no denying that. When love ends, it hurts. The Buddha never told us to suppress that pain or pretend it doesn't exist. Pain is part of being human. It's the echo of connection, the price of having cared deeply. But Buddhism draws a gentle line between pain and suffering. Pain is what life gives us. Suffering is what our mind adds to it. The Buddha called this dukkha, the mental struggle that arises when we resist what is. You might notice this when you keep replaying memories, asking, "Why did this happen?" Or, "What if I had done something differently?" This is the mind trying to rewrite the past, clinging to what can no longer be changed. The relationship ended, but the mind refuses to let it go. This is attachment, not only to the person, but to the idea of what the relationship was supposed to be. Maybe you were attached to the dream of forever, or to the version of yourself who was loved and seen. When those vanish, the emptiness feels unbearable, so you cling harder, hoping that by holding tighter, you can stop the loss. But imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. The same is true for love, for memories, for control. The more we grasp, the more we suffer. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting the person or denying what you felt. It means loosening your fist. It's allowing what has already changed to be changed. Ask yourself gently, what are you still holding on to? The person or the story? Often, it's not the person we miss most, but the story we told ourselves about them. The safety, the belonging, the version of us that felt complete. But life moves on, and clinging to what no longer exists keeps us trapped in yesterday. When we begin to see this clearly, something shifts. The pain may still be there, but the suffering lightens. You start to breathe again. You realize that heartbreak doesn't have to define you. It can refine you, and in that softening, peace begins to take root. The more we fight reality, the more we suffer. But what if, instead of resisting, we could learn to meet our pain with awareness, to simply let it be without judgment? Acceptance doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop fighting what's already here. When a relationship ends, the mind resists. It replays conversations, analyzes every word, imagines how things should have been. But the more we resist what has already happened, the more we suffer. Acceptance is not weakness. It is wisdom. It's the moment you stop asking life to be different and start finding peace with what is. The Buddha taught mindfulness as the doorway to this peace. To be mindful is to sit with your emotions, heartbreak, anger, sadness, and simply see them without judgment. You become the observer instead of the storm. Try this. Sit quietly for a few breaths. Feel where the pain lives in your body, maybe in your chest, your throat, your stomach. Don't push it away. Just breathe with it. Notice how it shifts, how it softens when met with awareness. Then, bring compassion into that space. The Buddha often taught metta or loving kindness meditation. Gently repeat to yourself, "May I be peaceful. May I be free from pain. May I learn to let go with grace." Compassion is not self-pity. It's a tender recognition that you are human and that healing takes time. Letting go also means releasing blame, both toward yourself and your former partner. Blame keeps the wound open. Maybe they hurt you. Maybe you made mistakes too. But every being acts from their own level of awareness, their own fears and desires. When you see this clearly, forgiveness becomes possible, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. There's a saying, you can't control the waves, but you can learn to surf. The waves of emotion will still come, longing, anger, nostalgia, but mindfulness teaches you to ride them with balance instead of drowning in them. You begin to see that heartbreak is not a sign of weakness. It's the heart's way of opening wider. Acceptance doesn't erase the past. It transforms it. The pain that once felt unbearable slowly becomes your teacher. And from that awareness, you begin to find something even more powerful than closure, freedom. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means making space for peace to return. And when space opens, healing begins. That's when you can start gently nourishing your heart again. After heartbreak, it's natural to feel empty, like something precious has been taken from you. But in Buddhist wisdom, emptiness isn't a void to fear. It's fertile ground for renewal. It's the quiet space where new understanding, strength, and joy can begin to grow. Now is the time to turn your attention inward, to what remains beautiful and alive within you. Beneath the pain, your heart still beats with kindness, creativity, and the capacity to love again. Healing doesn't mean rushing to fill the silence or replacing what was lost. It means nurturing what's already within you, the peace that was never truly gone, only covered by sorrow. Start with small, gentle practices. Sit in meditation for a few minutes each morning, not to erase thoughts, but to listen, to feel your breath returning you to the present moment. Go for mindful walks. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the wind on your skin. Each step becomes a reminder, I am still here, life is still here. You might also try journaling, writing honestly about what hurts, what you're learning, what you still hope for. The Buddha taught that facing our emotions with awareness allows them to transform. When you give your pain words, you stop being ruled by it. Think of your heart as a garden. The breakup may have felt like a storm tearing through what you planted, but storms also bring rain, nourishment for future growth. Pain, when tended with mindfulness, becomes compost, rich soil for wisdom and compassion to take root. Ask yourself, what seeds do I want to plant now? Perhaps patience, gratitude, or self-love. These qualities grow slowly, but each act of kindness toward yourself waters them. Joy will return, not as something given by another, but as something self-grown, a joy that doesn't depend on being loved back, but on loving life itself. When you realize that peace doesn't come from what happens outside, but from how you meet it inside, your heart begins to open again, not as it was, but wiser, deeper, and freer. In this way, heartbreak becomes a teacher, showing you how to bloom again from within. When you care for your inner garden, you start to notice something new, strength growing where there was once only sorrow. That's when heartbreak transforms into wisdom. Heartbreak can feel like the end of a chapter, but in truth it's often the beginning of a new one. The pain that once felt unbearable can become the very thing that awakens your deepest wisdom. Buddhism teaches that everything, even suffering, can be a teacher if you meet it with awareness. Every heartbreak holds hidden seeds of compassion, resilience, and clarity if you're willing to look within. You are not the same person you were before this pain. You've grown deeper roots. You've learned how fragile life can be. And because of that, you've also learned how precious it is. You've seen how the mind clings and how letting go, even when it hurts, leads to freedom. The tears you've shed have softened you, not weakened you. They've washed away illusion and revealed something unshakable, the quiet strength of your own heart. When you open to love again, and you will, it won't be the same kind of love. It will be freer, more spacious. You'll understand that love is not about possession or permanence, but about presence. You'll love with awareness, not attachment. You'll know that people, like seasons, come and go, and that's what makes each connection sacred. The Buddha once said, like a lotus born in muddy water, the heart can bloom even amidst suffering. That is your journey now, not to escape the pain, but to grow through it. Heartbreak doesn't have to break you, it can open you. It can open your eyes to the truth of impermanence, your mind to the power of awareness, and your heart to a compassion that extends beyond yourself. Look at who you've become, someone who has loved, lost, and learned. Someone capable of sitting with pain without turning away. That is strength, that is awakening. So as you step forward, carry this quiet knowing, love again, live again, trust again, but this time with open hands instead of clenched fists. You don't need to cling to what changes. You can walk through life with grace, allowing love to flow freely in and out, knowing that nothing truly beautiful is ever lost. It only transforms. The heart that once broke now beats with deeper understanding. You see, love was never truly lost. It simply changed form, and in that realization lies the peace we've been seeking all along. Heartbreak teaches us one of life's deepest truths, that everything changes, but impermanence is not a punishment. It's the nature of all things. The love you shared, the moments you cherished, the pain you felt, all a part of life's ever-moving river. When we stop fighting that flow and begin to walk with it, something shifts inside us. The storm quiets, the heart softens. Healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means seeing clearly, understanding that endings are not the opposite of love, but part of its rhythm. Each change, each loss can open us to greater wisdom and compassion if we allow it. So as you take your next steps, remember this: you are not broken, you are becoming. Each breath, each tear, each moment of awareness is shaping you into someone wiser, calmer, and freer. If this reflection brought you a sense of peace or understanding, I invite you to continue walking this path with me. Subscribe for more Buddhist wisdom, gentle guidance to help you heal, grow, and find freedom in the constant flow of life. Because even after heartbreak, peace is not lost. It's waiting quietly within you.